around. Okay, we've got a few people hanging on. What's going on? What's going on? Today, we are meeting Mr. Blake himself, Merch Campus. What's going on, bro?
What's good, man? Thanks for having me.
Nice, man. Nice one. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this live. I mean, I've been receiving messages saying, we can't wait to have Blake on the live. We can't wait to have Blake drop his amazing knowledge and stuff like that. So, man, amazing. Really, really good. A lot of people are saying hello to you. Let's see who we've got. Personal care. I know who you are. Abu Rayyan. What's going on, mate? Smart Info, hello. AS4 Entertainment. Usama, what's going on? Hassan, Mustafa, Mohammed. Sorry, I can't say hello to everyone, but hello, guys. Thank you so much for coming into the live. We've got about 31 people watching now. Do us a favor, guys, and share this live with everybody that you know, everybody who's interested in merch, in business in general, that wants to know exactly how we do things, guys. This is pure info. It's for free. We're not charging anything. All we ask for is subscribe to our channels, like, comments, do all those amazing, wonderful stuff, right? And share. So important, because we want to share the information. We don't want to waste time. We want everybody to benefit, guys. And Blake is a powerhouse. He's going to drop some crazy knowledge, guys, tonight. So yeah, give it up for Blake. Let's hear it for Blake. Let's I wish if you guys could have a microphone and say, "Hey, Blake." Right. So, Blake, without further ado, let's go, mate. Let's introduce yourself for people that don't know you, mate. I'm sure a lot of people know you here. You run a fantastic channel called Merch Campus. But for people that don't know you, what are you all about?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and thanks for everyone in the comments. I'm reading some epic comments like, "You're the reason I believe in this business. I made 1,500 units or less Christmas from your tip. Glad to see you, Blake." All right, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. That's so awesome. I'm so happy to be on this channel because I love Addie P. I think he's just kind of like the fresh fire, putting out just pure value, and I love it.
Feeling shy now. Thanks.
Yeah, how'd you face? Yeah, as for me, I started merch 2017, so I've been doing this for a couple years now. It's full-time income, but not full-time work, which is great because you can build up to that level. And so now I'm based in Vancouver. I'm really enjoying my life. I'm very grateful to what merch has done for me. And on the journey, I shared some tips on the way, and that's what Merch Campus was, a YouTube channel where I could kind of share what I was learning and share what worked for me. So that's where we are today.
That's cool, man. That's pretty awesome. So where are you at now? Are you still working on merch? Are you doing other bits and pieces? I mean, I'm sure we're going to delve into more detail when it comes to those things. But do you want to share a little bit about that? Like, you spoke about your journey. You started in 2017. Like, what are you doing now? Are you working on merch? Are you doing other bits and pieces? Just top line level.
Yeah, top line. Merch is fantastic opportunity. You put up a design, write a few words, press publish, and you have a product that's for sale in the world that people can buy. Kind of insane to leave that hanging. So I do keep up to date, particularly in Q4. I like to enter trends. Like, it just gets flooded with organic traffic on Amazon.com during the season. So I feel like it's a waste to not be on it during these times. But generally speaking, I've taken a step back because merch, I kind of have a big evergreen base of shirts that sell monthly that are bringing me basically a full-time income that allows me to kind of explore other interests. And so that's kind of like what I've been doing lately, just kind of exploring my own interests and having merch kind of work for me, and which I believe is a really great place to be. Yeah.
Right. And that's what an entrepreneur should be like, right? Try something, make it work, build it up to a level where you can actually reap the rewards and then move on to something else. Build it and then move on, right? We all have that instinct in us, right?
Oh, totally. Like, when you first get into merch and there's this rush and excitement as you go through the learning phase. And I remember every aspect of the learning experience was new. I was like, what is this, like Upwork? Like, how do you actually hire a freelancer? And the first time I actually hired someone, I was so nervous speaking to them for the first time. I was like, I'm not like an employer. And so you have all these weird like limiting beliefs as you learn through like about the platform, as you learn about merch. And then you get to a place where you can either choose to go even more deeper and then make this the biggest, best thing ever. Or for me, I decided to put it on a pause and then explore other arenas to get that excitement again and then go chase that growth curve, max it out, and then see what the next thing is going to bring. So yes, definitely an entrepreneurial thing.
Absolutely, man. That's fantastic. So let's get into the crux of the matter, you know, into the meat. Talk to us about, so for somebody who's brand new, starting out, because, you know, we've got a lot of beginners with us as well. Starting out, just got their merch approved, tier 10. What should they do to really capitalize and maximize their earnings in Q4? Like, what can they do from your perspective?
Yeah, so if I was, and this is hands down the best time to be in merch, just because of the amount of traffic that's on Amazon. That's it. Because there's so much traffic on Amazon for major holidays in the US, right? So that it's so much easier to get a sale. Because with high traffic, you get high rotation of shirts. So you actually don't have to be as good at merch yet to get sales, which is great, because in the beginning we all suck at merch. Like, we have to learn how to get good at designs, writing keywords, you know, entering niches. So if I was starting now, like, you know, there's a few things you look at. For one, you want to be hitting seasonal trends. So right now we're in the heart of Halloween. You know, I'm selling hundreds and hundreds of shirts a day just from Halloween. And so it would be foolish to not be entering trends. Right now it's Halloween, next is Thanksgiving, next is Christmas. It's the classic thing. And then you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's just action packed. And so you enter these trends. You can basically cross niche into trends. So you have Halloween, then you take any other niche that you can think of, and then you could say, how would someone who loves belonging to that niche want to represent that during Halloween, right? You know, it could be whether you're a policeman, you know, or whether you're into llamas, or whether you like beer. How does that match with the seasonal trend that everyone's wearing an outfit or a costume for, right? So that's more from how would you enter niches. But then the next thing is you want to be you basically want to be pricing low in the beginning. And there's a lot of debate around pricing. I would, if I'm being completely honest, I would just price low, and we can have a talk about pricing later.
We're gonna get into that a lot deeper later on. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's leave pricing to the side. And so I'd price it low, base price, right? Or somewhere around that. And so you're giving an incentive for the customer to buy it. And then you want to be entering high traffic trends, right? So you can look at trending phrases. So just to give you an example of like what trending phrases might be right now in Halloween, there's a couple that I can think of already. So one is, you know, this is my human costume. I'm really a fill in the blank, right? So that's a trending phrase. And how do you enter trending phrase is by you fill in the blank with something that's not been done yet, because it's proven that it's a seller, right? And then there are other trending phrases during Halloween, for example, pretend I'm a fill in the blank. You can enter any niche, and so you try that, right? And then another one that I think is something, and I mentioned this in one of my videos, for example, the teachers love brains. You know that's a trending phrase, right? So what do you do next? Well, you go deeper into it. Like, there's so many different kinds of school faculty that want to represent, right, that love brains because they work in schools, right? And so that's how you do it. You find high traffic trends, and you can enter them with new niches, right, by leveraging that validated phrase.
Here is one. Like, I'm sure that you might have seen this. I teach the cutest pumpkins in class, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Do you know, a couple of weeks ago, I think I shared it with a couple of my people in the group. There was literally no results for I teach the cutest turkeys in the patch. There was very, very few. Now there's about 400. So getting in very, very early, right, with something that's not out there, maybe use it for another, you know, trending holiday or something like that. So it's taking a phrase that's already validated that people really love, and then taking it to another trend and adding whatever you know, goes on in that trend, or whatever is related to that trend into that phrase, and there you go. You've got a brand new cross niche that not many people are into.
Dude, 100%. Like, I think this concept is really important to understand when you're starting merch. The concept is you look at what's working, and then you don't have to be that creative when you apply to other holidays. For example, back in the day, this is a couple of years ago, we had the dabbing trend. I would say in 2017 was really a big dabbing trend, and in 2018 was not as much. It was a bit of flossing, and then you know. And so back in 2017, you're like, okay, dabbing's going crazy during like the summer for like soccer, and then all of a sudden you have skeletons dabbing for Halloween. Then you have turkeys dabbing. It's like obvious that you're gonna have some dabbing trend in Christmas, right? So just follow the trend, look at what's working, and then that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna enter the dabbing Santa Claus niche, and then you have shirts that will hit very low BSRs, because you're doing this tactic of you entering the market 1 or 2 months before that all of the competition comes in. You're pricing it low, giving Amazon time to index it, and you're using high traffic keywords. And these are keywords that you start typing in Amazon. These are the first few that have tons of variations at the end. If you write like Santa dabbing, this is back in the day, you had like 8 different variations with that keyword. So you know it's a high traffic phrase.
Right, and basically what you're doing is you're anticipating what's going to happen in a month or 2 months time based on previous data, based on what you've noticed that has been selling. So
Dude,
important, guys. Yeah.
Dude, it's like so key, so key. Like even just this summer, I've been taking merch kind of easily, and then I was like, oh, maybe I could try catch the next trend, see how that is. I go on Merch Informer, look at the merch archive. I was like, okay, what was trending last year, late August? So easy, and because this is like already late July, a month before, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you have these like class of 2032 or something,
Yeah.
or 2033. Whatever it was last year to this year. And then I just made a whole string of variations for this year, and you smash it with animals and different things. So class of 23 with like a llama, or class of 23 with a cat. And then I had tons of sales in August just from looking what worked last year.
That niche sells like crazy, guys. So tip, what you want to take from what he's just said is you want by around April time, you want to upload to that niche, yeah? You want to upload like crazy to that niche because you're going to sell it for end of school and back to school as well, right? You're going to sell it like crazy. So always anticipate what's going to happen for whatever period of time and design for it by looking back at the data, at Merch Archive, Merch Informer. It makes it so much easier for you. Before we go further, Blake, I want to mention to our followers that we are having a fantastic bonus, courtesy of Mr. Blake himself. He's going to drop a fantastic bonus, guys. We're not going to tell you what it is. You want to stay until the end, and he's going to make it for free for everybody that stays watching until the end. It's going to be so much value. Do you want to talk a little bit about it and tease the followers, or?
Yeah, I can mention it. Like,
yeah, go on.
So one of the things that I love to do with merch is basically, it's called asymmetric activities. So what is low input with high output? And an asymmetric thing would be you get one phrase that you can scale out, right? So all of a sudden you have like one small input that has enormous output, hundreds and hundreds of shirts. And that's how I've entered massive seasonal trends, right? And so I put together a resource that can help with basically scalable phrases, because I use this all the time. It's so, a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't have design skills. Like sometimes you just really just need to put like phrases on shirts and then slap a graphic in there, and then this resource is meant to help you to basically tap validated scalable templates. So it should be very easy to churn out designs, particularly in a season when you need to have designs in the market, which is Q4. That's kind of the summary.
That's awesome, man. I think it's going to be amazing value for you guys. So for everybody that stays till the end, he's going to drop it for free, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Brilliant. Right. So let's talk about what strategy would you follow then, Blake, for Q4? Like, what would you go for? The long term, the short term strategy, high pricing, lower pricing? What would you do to really maximize your sales? So we spoke about trends. What else would you do?
Yeah. And just to reiterate, a lot of these concepts are things that have been in the merch Amazon space for a while. Things like, low pricing to get reviews and things like that. But with Q4, you see sales volume. That's what happens. So you get organic traffic hitting Amazon. Oof, they buy shirts, and then you get a lot of volume. This helps you tier up, and this helps you get reviews on shirts. The reason I would enter Q4 with low price shirts is because you're basically playing a long-term game. And there's a lot of flack in the community for pricing low. They're like, it's a race to the bottom. And again, we'll talk about pricing later. But I would price low in Q4, which is counterintuitive because a lot of people price high, which is fine. Like you'll get great royalties because people are more price tolerant in the gift giving season because they want to buy gifts for people. But if I was thinking about my own account and I was like, okay, my priority with a merch account is you just need slots. That's the number one priority when you're starting out, because your whole world of possibility is restricted to how many slots you have. Or you can't just constantly be rotating like 10 shirts in and out, in and out. You need at least hundreds or if not thousands of slots. And so I would be entering, like I said before, basically trending events. So like, let's say Thanksgiving, using this cross niche method that everyone has been talking about, but for some reason people are still not really using it.
They're still not using it. I harp it into people's, I harp on it all the time, man. I drum it into people's ears all the time, but people are still not grasping what it is, right? Yeah.
It's probably the best way to enter merch these days is you basically enter high traffic holidays with different niches, and then you combine it. because you can basically access huge amounts of audiences, which normally you couldn't, because normally you have to make a very niche shirt, like a pun about a hedgehog or something. But in this case, if you're just making like a turkey themed graphic for Thanksgiving, for example, it's so easy. Just smash it with different sports, or you smash it with like different, animals, or smash
like
it with
a dinosaur. So we know for a fact that the dinosaur niche is validated. It's high traffic, high demand. It sells like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So an easy one. I was talking about it in my private group earlier. I did the live for them. So a dinosaur with a dabbing turkey. Boom, done. Right?
Done.
And call
Yep.
it what? Turkeysaurus. There you go.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
get two high demand niches, put them together, done, finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to remember also, as we enter Q4, that if you're going to make shirts for Halloween, use Halloween related keywords. Like use costume, use outfit, or you use party, like costume party. Like sometimes people are just putting like t-shirts for Halloween without realizing the context. The whole mission of merch is really to sell things that people would wear in their life. Like I think we forget about the end user sometimes. It's kind of merch is kind of like surreal because we're so detached from the delivery process. You have production and delivery and shipping. But in fact, these are people wearing your stuff. And so think about the keywords to use. Like as we enter Thanksgiving, okay, what do people do on Thanksgiving? Oh, well, they have family reunions, right? They have dinners. What do they eat? You have like potatoes, turkey, mash. Like these are all things like to think about. And then you go into Christmas, the ultimate gift giving season. And so you can always be using things like gift for insert the thing. And these can be specific people. Like it could be a gift for your neighbor. It could be gift for grandson. Huge niche are grandparents buying stuff for their grandson. Like a lot of my reviews are for grandsons. So it just tells you right there, like if you can build basically keywords around targeting grandson, because think of it, if you're like a grandmother, you absolutely adore your grandchildren. You just want to please them. You're like, for Christmas, gift for grandson who loves dinosaurs, or gift for grandson who can't stop playing or obsessed with tigers or something. Like that's a great way to approach a market that most people are not keywording that way, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I would approach Q4: low pricing, meeting the holiday trends, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then creating products around this idea that they're custom for that holiday, whether it's Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas. Yeah.
And one other thing of doing low pricing is that literally you need one shirt to rank really well, right? One shirt to rank really well in a particular niche, and it will sell like crazy. I mean, do you remember that t-shirt that ranked so well? It had like a 300 BSR in Father's Day. Do you remember that shirt that said I have two titles, Dad and Papa or something, and I'll rock them both.
Yeah.
It had a 300 BSR, dude.
Nuts.
That must have sold like thousands of copies.
Yeah, that's wild.
So you just need that one shirt, and it might just be you.
Yeah.
Cool. So next question for you would be, do you want to talk about pricing now? Because it kind of leads nicely to it.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on pricing?
I mean, I've made my position perfectly clear, to be honest with you, throughout all my videos. So I say, if you're getting into a niche that has a high demand and a high competition, and you cross niche and you sub niche, but you still have a little bit of kind of competition, right? So there's still high results there. I would enter with 1307, or if I'm doing a V-neck, obviously the price that will give me 0 royalties, right? So that I am the cheapest in the market. The reason being is that when people search for low to high, and we know that for a fact, dude, we know that Amazon customers go to Amazon to buy cheap stuff. Yeah, we know that. That's like one of Amazon's strategies. One of Amazon's core business principles is to provide faster shipping through Prime, to give plenty of choice to customers, and to give the lowest prices possible. So we know for a fact that people don't go to Amazon to buy the more expensive stuff. They go there to buy cheap. So if you give them that cheap price, they'll buy from you. They'll go to the low to high and they'll buy from there. And when they buy, you get a chance to rank. And then when you rank, what happens? You go to that page 1 or 2. That's where we want to be. And then you get reviews, blah, blah, blah. This is top line level. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about, the 1307. But this is what I think. But if you're going into a niche that has like 50, results, right? It's really sub niche and it's really like focused and targeted, then I would just do like, I don't know, 16.99, 17.99, depending on the price in there. And if I'm coming with the best design there, I will still come in at like 16.99 or something to give it a little bit of a boost to sell, and then maybe it will rank in the higher niche afterwards. So what we need to think about, the 1307 is not to limit us and not make money, is to provide more visibility for people to actually see our products and buy it, and give us that boost, that momentum to rank in page one and keep going. That's my thoughts. And if you're using AMS, you don't need to do 1307. I mean, it might help, but there's absolutely no points, because you're going to be seen anyway through ads, right?
Right.
Or
You'll be up on page one anyways.
Huh?
You'll be up on page one anyways.
Exactly. I mean, depending on how much you're paying.
You bid it. Yeah,
Top
yeah,
bucks, man. I mean, I don't know what it would be like in December, because there's going to be a lot of traffic, and a lot of people are going to be, getting their shirts on AMS. So how much is it going to be on that top page, especially for like dabbing niche or Santa or whatever?
It's too late. Like if you're advertising already now in Q4, like especially for high demand markets, it's kind of too late. I mean, Amazon, if you think about it, their advertising business is absolutely massive. Like they make so much money, and all their recommendations are like, increase your bids for Black Friday, increase your bids for Cyber Monday. They're like, give us all this money to promote products. But the thing is, you actually want to be very restrained in Q4, especially if you're advertising, because people are going to bid you through the roof, especially if they haven't gotten sales rank yet. And so you want to be doing the AMS to get sales rank before Q4 comes. Otherwise, it's like you're going to be bidding way too much. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know about. I mean, I've stepped out of the AMS Amazon Advertising Services game. I just kind of like the organic method, but I would definitely think about employing it if I needed, to get some shirts ranked, especially for potentially big holidays. And I used it back in summer when I was trying to rank for some of those class of 30, 32s. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know people actually start advertising their stuff around June time for Christmas? You know that Christmas in July niche?
Yeah.
Dude, they're uploading all of their Christmas stuff around June, May time to rank for July, to sell in that niche of Christmas in July, and then they end up selling in Christmas as well, because they do have that sales rank.
Right.
They're already ready for Christmas.
For a real Christmas.
For the real Christmas, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what are your thoughts on pricing?
Honestly, I think you've said it pretty well. I would agree with what you said. The thing is, it's just a choice. It's like your choice. Like you can choose how to price it. It's up to you, right? I would say the reality of increasing Merch by Amazon, sellers, is that you're going to have lower prices. That's just a reality of marketplaces and businesses and economies. As you have more supply, right? People that just keep trying to like stand out by pulling the prices down and becoming a more compelling product. So I think that's inevitable. And so if you acknowledge the truth instead of resisting it and saying like, oh, it's a race to the bottom, you're bringing the whole like community down when you do this. I'm like, this is business. It's the reality of business when you have crowds coming into marketplaces. There's no doubt that's happening in any business opportunity. There's always people going to enter it, and then there's people who kind of try to be the best in that thing, which is what I recommend. If you're going to go with merch and you have more people coming into it, instead of complaining, try to be the best you can be in that space, right? Or try to carve out your niche. And so I would say, like with pricing, like there's people who have great success pricing above $20 consistently, but it comes down again to like, are you advertising? Like if like you said, like is the niche in high demand? Like is there a lot of competition? Then it's just going to be so much harder to grab sales. Like for me, when I enter Halloween niches that I know are only going to get like maybe like a sale a day, as opposed to like 10 a day, which is the in demand, or 20 a day or 30 a day niches, then I'm just going to price them higher, because I'm like, I know I'm just going to get sales occasionally. I can just bump this up. But if I want things to become evergreen regular sellers, I'm going to start them low to build the sales rank.
Yeah, and to build the reviews and all of that, and to stay in that page one. And what I keep saying to my guys and girls, my people, my followers, is increase your price when you're actually ranking in a good place, right? Because you're going to get all of Amazon's eyes are going to be on you. You're going to get most of the traffic, because let's face it, if there's 100 pages, right, only the first page and the second page will get that traffic, and mainly the top rows of the first page. That's just reality. This is where you want to be. That's the most expensive real estate area in the whole of in the whole of Amazon. So that's where you want to be. And how do you get there? Either via advertising or the lowest price strategy, so that you can get that sales momentum and get that high low BSR and get that momentum to get you there.
Right.
There's no other way, right? Or obviously advertising.
Right.
But you need that sales momentum. You need that sales velocity.
Right.
That's how Amazon's algorithm ranks you.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's ways that you can basically externally, like via sharing your products externally with
Yeah,
like certain
no, we're
keyword
talking
string.
organically. So like from just
Just relying purely on
Yeah.
Amazon organic traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of another way.
Yeah.
But apart from obviously external advertising or external marketing, if you're doing Instagram, we're going to talk about Instagram, Twitter, Facebook pages, and all of those things. They're really important. But
People
I mean,
should sorry to interrupt.
so I was just saying, can you think of another way? Because I really personally cannot think of another way of how to rank a t-shirt internally, just purely, solely relying on organic traffic.
No, that sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, cool. So sorry, you were going to say something, Blake?
Oh yeah, I was actually just going to mention, like, I think we have to remember as well, like mobile is kind of everything these days. Like how people search on mobile, and like when you look at like Amazon.com or the Amazon app on your phone, it's a very different like layout, and you only have like one product per block in your phone, and so it's actually even slimmer than what you're saying about like page 1 and 2. And so I think what we have to remember is, like, when you've optimized your listing and then you get the benefit of the rotation, right? Because the Amazon algorithm is never satisfied. It's like, maybe there are other products that are having a better click-through rate than the current ranking ones, and so they're going to put you up, right? When you actually get that rotation rank, you want to have the best possible chance of people click into it and buy it, because that's what leads to rank. And if you have a high price, or if your design's not that on point, or if it's not a very original design, it's just it's never going to recover, really, because you only get a couple of those like chances, and then it goes down. The reason like certain sellers are proven sellers and hold that space is because it just has history. And Amazon's like, this is proven to have a certain click-through rate. It's proven to have a certain like conversion rate, and so they're just going to leave it ranked.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And they only lose that history is if a new seller comes and they start getting sales and getting sales and getting sales, and then slowly they start fading away. So basically, if the new seller keeps outselling the old seller, and the old seller does not sell anymore, slowly they start like overtaking them like that until they take that first spot. But it's really hard when you have a proven sales history. It's really hard for you to be overtaken unless your design doesn't sell anymore. So what would you say the pros and cons of pricing low versus pricing high?
Okay, so I guess obviously when you price high, you're going to get a big royalty, relatively big. You might get like, let's say you're pricing at like $21.99, you might get like $7 or something, and that's nice because you have cash. Of course, you still have to wait about 30 days before it's put into your bank, but it's nice to have cash. The disadvantage is that you're not getting as much sales volume. When you don't get sales volume, you don't get enough sales to tier up fast. So you may be slowing down your slot growth, right? Another thing you might be slowing down is sales review growth. Yeah. Because like you want reviews on sales. And so those are like the obvious pros and cons. The thing is, again, it's like you said, it also depends on the niche, the competition, the demand, things like that. But for me, when you're thinking about the long game is like you want to have tons of products that are selling kind of consistently, like tons. Yeah. And the way that you get those selling consistently individually is you have to give them sales history. And the way you give them sales history is by you forfeiting profits in the short term. Like a good rule of thumb is if it's painful, it's usually good in the long term. Yeah. Like kind of like anything you do, like when you go to the gym, it's kind of painful, but this is good. My future self will thank me. And your future merch self will thank you when you kind of resist the profits now. But the thing is, it brings us to the point, kind of like you kind of have to have a good understanding of why you're in the merch Amazon space to decide if you're kind of going to do short-term strategy or long-term strategy.
I will talk about that in more detail, because we're going to talk about mindset, lots of different things, guys. Lots of value we're going to drop fairly soon. And what would you say the cons of the lower pricing strategy? We've spoken about the pros. What would you say the cons?
I would say the cons are there's a lot of uncertainty as to how much money you're leaving on the table. And because it's not very clear, it's kind of like an art. There's no real science. It's like an art with like raising prices. You don't know how often you can raise a price. And so I've definitely left maybe a lot of money on the table by not raising it, by fear of losing rank, right? And so that I would say is the big con. So
I would agree.
Is the uncertainty about how much profits you're losing, outside of the obvious con that you're just not making any money on this immediately. But it's not that you're not making money on it, but you're actually increasing the value of your overall asset, which is your merch account, down the line. And so it's weird because like on this one shirt, you're like, okay, I'm not making money on this shirt, but I am increasing the amount of slots that I have. I am increasing the sales rank on this one asset. And so overall, you could argue that
it is beneficial, because it's not going to harm you long term. Probably short term, because you're not going to get as much royalties, which is fine. But long term, you're going to get those reviews. You're going to get that sales history, which I think is more beneficial than getting the short term royalties. Because for me, any T-shirt that sells a lot, regardless of whether it's not bringing me any money or it's bringing me money, is a winner, right? It has to consistently keep selling. I'm not interested in a shirt that sells 20 times a month and brings me $5 royalties. I'm interested in a shirt that sells 100 times a month, right? But brings me, I don't know, no royalties whatsoever. Because later on, when I get those amazing reviews, right? Any review, by the way, guys, is a good review, because it's going to bump you up a little bit, whether it is 3 or 4 stars. But anyway, that's another subject. Right. So I'm interested in that T-shirt that's going to bring me more reviews. That's going to, bump me up in the algorithm and keep selling. So that's really my, thought behind it.
I've had and this is again just kind of like what I am guessing. It's what I've seen. So it's like, I don't know if this is true, but like whenever one of my shirts starts to perform very well, I actually see an overall account lift.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like, how are they keeping track of our like merch accounts, and then they give you scores based on sales? Because when I have high sellers, all of a sudden all these random shirts which usually don't sell start to sell. And so again, this is like, they're not telling us anything about how that, if that is even true. But I just found that.
I mean, it's just something that you feel, but we cannot quantify and say, for certain this is how it works, right? Because we don't know how. Basically, everything that we extrapolate from how Amazon works is based on our experience, right? Amazon doesn't tell us this is how it works. It's from how we see it happen time and time and time again. Do you know what I mean? But Amazon are so secretive, man. They're not going to tell you everything. They will tell you nothing, because they don't want you to hack the system. Because once you hack the system, you will have an unfair advantage over everyone else.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about one of the arguments that people mention when talking about the low pricing strategy is FBA. What's your thought on FBA, and how does it impact us when it comes to the low pricing strategy?
So maybe you would have a bit more experience in this because you actually did FBA.
Yeah.
I never did FBA. I was just pure merch. But from what I understand, there are basically so many different markets that you can enter designs into, right? So that's the advantage of having merch. You can just, like, in a few clicks of the button, you have a product in a market that was not there before. And so it's not like you actually have to ship inventory into this warehouse. And then the reason you would ship inventory into a warehouse is only if you can validate that you're going to sell that, because otherwise you have products sitting in the warehouse and then you're wasting money, right? And so you have all this like risk. And so FBA, I imagine, would only really have a business when they have proven sellers. And with merch, you can basically hit up all these untapped niches without necessarily having to prove them, right? Because they take up just digital artwork in cyberspace at first, or like ASINs on the Amazon server. And so, in my opinion, like, it's kind of a different. It's almost like a different like playing field. I see merch kind of competing with other merchers, less with FBA, like, because like we've seen like high sellers with FBA, but they're only priced at like $5.99, like $6.99, and like great BSRs. You can look at them, you know, like 10K, less than that, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't understand enough about it, but I never saw myself competing with FBA, even though technically they are other products on the market.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is, firstly, you'll only find FBA in the surface niches. So when you type Halloween shirt, you'll find a lot of FBA. It's swamped with FBA because they've been there before merch came along, right? So they have that sales history.
Yeah.
But when you go to sub niches and you go to cross niches, you will not find FBA. It's really rare where you find FBA. So that's where you have more of an advantage over FBA. You can price your prices 1307, and those will be the ones that show on the low to high section. So that's one thing. And you mentioned about the the fact that they have to send their t-shirts to Amazon, and they have to send them in high quantities, all of those sizes, and each size is an ASIN. It's really, really long. They have to know exactly what would sell, and they have to cut out the crap. Basically, they have to cut out the stuff. See, like us, right? We upload anything we want. They cannot do that. They can only upload stuff or send stuff that they know sells, and they have a history with it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's really long. It's really long for them to keep sending stuff, and then it's not selling. And
maybe go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on. It's fine.
Oh, I was just wondering, like, maybe that the way Amazon integrates with like Shopify allows them a bit more of a print on demand aspect to it that I haven't considered. I just don't know enough about fulfillment.
Yeah, but still, they have to get a special ASIN for each one, and it's a long process. I've looked into it. I don't want to do it, to be honest with you. It's a lot longer than actually doing versus via merch. Completely different. And then you have what else? In terms of pricing, yes, they could compete a little bit, but then again, they have to charge for shipping. So a lot of the time, you'll find that it is maybe cheaper than 1307, but then they're not going to make any money. But for them, they are being charged. You need to think about this, right? If they don't make any money, they are being charged for long-term storage fees.
Right.
They're being charged for okay, let's say long-term storage fees doesn't apply to people that do the integration of Printful versus Amazon, right? So what else would apply to them?
Well, there are base charges.
Huh?
Well, there are just like flat fees whenever you have to actually buy it, like from Printful or something. You have to pay the base anyways.
Well, obviously they're gonna have to pay for shipping, and they pay for the cost of the shirt as well. And Printful is pretty expensive. I mean, the cheapest you can get is a Gildan, right?
Yeah,
Gildan for what? $8?
Yeah.
It's $7.80 plus shipping. We're talking about $3 for shipping. Okay, so the shirt plus the shipping costs them about $11, right? Plus what Amazon charges them for per month, because they charge you per month. Amazon charge you per month. I think it's like $40 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so it costs them $11. How much are they going to earn? Like, how much do they need to price to be able to make a little bit of profit? It's tough. I just don't see them competing, to be honest. Right. And they can't put as much volume as what we can put as what we can put out. It's just yeah. I've never seen them compete, to be honest with you. So that's why.
And it's a valid.
Huh?
It's like a valid like question. People are wondering whether.
Yeah, people are wondering. So we want to get back to people that see FBA as a potential competitor with merch by Amazon. Yes, they do compete in certain cases, like I said, in the top line level of that niche. But when you get to as you get lower and lower, and as you sub niche and as you add more niches to that original niche, you won't find many FBA sellers.
But then even if like, it's just like the reality of Amazon.com is that it's made up mainly of third-party sellers. And like, so what? Like, that's the environment that is Amazon.com. Like, what does that change? Like, we've always had like competing sellers. Like, these are third-party sellers on Amazon. Like, I wonder, like, it doesn't really make a difference whether FBA is competing or not, like we're competing with every other seller on Amazon anyways. It's just a marketplace. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, when you go to Amazon, right? Think about it from a customer point of view. And this is how I like to think all the time before I make a decision. Think about it from a customer point of view. Do you, if you find two products that are pretty similar, right? But one is sold by a third-party seller and one is sold by Amazon, which one do you pick?
Yeah, well, you have a lot more security with Amazon.
Absolutely. So merch by Amazon shirts are sold by Amazon. So it gives the customers that security that they're buying from Amazon, not from some third-party seller they never heard of.
Dude, free returns, it's great.
Free returns, all of those things. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Prime in all cases, but with FBA, they only have Prime in some cases because you've got, sorry, not FBA, fulfillment by merchants, because there's fulfillments by merchants and there's FBA as well. So there's some T-shirts that are fulfilled by merchants. Okay, cool. Let's move on. I think this is pretty clear when it comes to you know, pricing and all of that. Maybe we can talk about it later if you want. Still, how would you? Okay, so I know it's probably a bit too late for Christmas for people to enter the Christmas niche because it's massive and you need to get that BSR up now. You need to get that rank really now because if you keep waiting, you're not going to be able to rank. So how would you enter now, right? For people that haven't entered yet, and how would you use the cross-niching and the sub-niching strategy to enter Christmas and actually make some sales and make an impact?
So
what would you do if it was you, tier 10? You know, you're still thinking, oh, I don't know what to do. I need to make some sales and tier up and use this Q4 and Christmas to absolutely smash sales and get the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to the principles. So I will always use the same principle. It's like you have people who are interested in the holiday of Christmas, but then you also have people who have like a specific interests that are separate to Christmas. And then when they find that they can celebrate Christmas and that interest, it's like win-win. And so I made this video last year or whenever it was. And I mean, this is the concept I would use, is you basically get an iconic Christmas graphic that you can smash with other niches. Like that might be a Christmas tree. It might be a snowman. It might be a reindeer. It might be an elf. What might be gifts? It might, in the case in my video, I just said it was a Santa hat because it's very versatile. It could even be tree decorations, right?
Yeah.
And I have shows with tree decoration itself. And so like that means that you can pretty much do it with anything, however absurd. You can put a Santa hat on a turkey. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's Christmas. And they're like, great, I can celebrate. It gives them an excuse to celebrate Christmas with this absurd item. And absurd designs sell all the time. And so that would be my main thing, is like you find what is symbolic and emblematic of that holiday, and then you put it.
It doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be any other holiday. So if you're entering the Thanksgiving, right? What's symbolic in Thanksgiving? It's a turkey, right? Mix it with something else, you know? That's perfect, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like definitely. Like you find things that are like it doesn't hurt to buy a graphic if you're going to use it again and again and again. And so you can get a really kind of cool graphic of a turkey if you're going to use it again and again and again with like different niches, because it can be your core graphic. And I've done that with like the Santa hats. Like I'll buy like a really cool Santa hat, and I'll be like, well, I'm going to use this again and again and again. It's not a waste of money. Like I'm, again, like small input, high output, asymmetric action. So that's kind of how I would do it now. It still applies. Like merch is very cyclical, which means that what's happened last year is probably going to happen this year. It's not that different outside of trends, like news events. Like remember that Betsy Ross flag trend? That was a trend that happened last year because of a news story. And so it's very cyclical. And you can just like look at what was going on last year and get a sense of like what's probably going to happen.
Go back to Merch Informer archive and check what was selling last year and get the idea. You don't have to repeat the same designs.
No.
Probably people are tired of buying those designs. So just get the idea, see where people were paying their money, where people were spending their money in, and get that data and apply it into this trend for this year.
Great. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, yeah, exactly. Like customers do get bored of designs. They're like, we saw this last year, like not into it. And that's fine. But you understand why they bought the other design, right?
Yeah.
It's because
It's the
how the
why that we need to understand, right? Because when we know the why, we're going to come up with new ideas that appeal to those people, right? Because we know the why. And Amazon is not going to tell you the why. You need to use we need to use our brains, right? We need to really analyze. Nobody's going to tell you, okay, so people are going to buy this in Christmas. You have to analyze the previous year's data in order to come up with new design ideas that are going to appeal to those people that you're trying to target.
There's a guy in merch, as far as I understand about his process. It's really great. And what he does, he basically just kind of enters holidays. Like he's like steers clear from evergreen because all the traffic, and I love evergreen, so it's just a different strategy. But all the traffic swells during holidays, like absurdly, right? And then so you basically plan for those by looking at the BSR data historically. And so you're like, okay, so these shirts, all these St. Patrick's Day shirts started to sell there. And so especially now with this year, the algorithm gives a little freshness boost as well. So it helps when you're putting out new stuff. And so if you plan historically for big events, you'll do very well. But again, it comes back to the short-term, long-term thing, because it's a long-term game, because you're not going to see the payoff of that work for a few months. But it is going to pay off because you entered early. And so that helps a lot.
Perfect, mate. Awesome. Next one. Let's see what we got here. We spoke about Christmas and cross-niching. What do you think about the new shipping destinations, Blake?
I imagine that they spent some time working on it in the back end in terms of the global logistics of it. But in terms of how it's actually going to affect us, I think it's pure positive without us feeling it that much. Like we won't feel that much because of it's actually quite a barrier to the cost of the shipping globally, even to like the closest countries to the US. It's pretty high shipping cost. But it is, I think it's generally good because it's opened up potentially millions of people who just couldn't buy the product before, the merch product. And some people will be willing to like dish out the $60 for a t-shirt or whatever it is.
If they can't get it anywhere else.
Exactly. It's a novelty product.
Yeah.
So I think it's a net positive. Like it doesn't affect us.
It doesn't.
It's just a good thing.
It's a bonus. It's an added bonus, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When we didn't have it, we weren't affected. Now that we have it, we've got more of an opportunity. Maybe it's a slim opportunity, slim chance that people might buy. But who knows? We might get a lot of sales from outside, from those countries. And the other thing as well, I'm thinking long term. I always think long term, right? As Amazon develops new, technologies, as it scales its business of print on demand, right? They might have factories or plants where they actually print in those countries, right? Or like in the middle where they could make their cost of shipping cheaper, and that way they could make the shipping price a lot lower, right?
Yeah, it's the beginning.
That might be beneficial. Maybe not now. Yeah, we just got to wait and see what happens.
But that's often what they do. They're like, okay, can we release this in a way that it works? Because once it works, they're like, eventually we hit scale numbers, and then the price cuts down. Because Amazon is always playing the scale game, and like, of course, their goal with the merch shirt is that they'll be able to when you upload a design until it gets shipped out the door will be a 40-minute window. Like if that's their goal to hit that point, that's all they're thinking about. It's like, how do we scale this to a way that we can accelerate everything? And I'm sure the same applies to shipping.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Crazy, man. I mean, and I keep revisiting this statement. I always say we're still in the beginning, mate. It's still brand new. I mean, it's still in its infancy. I mean, imagine 5 years down the line what it's going to be like. You might have plants in every patch of different countries. You just don't know. You really don't know how big this is going to get.
Yeah.
You just need to play the waiting game. And anybody who's got an account right now, guys, please work hard to grow that account, because it might be what's going to make you live a fantastic life throughout your whole life. Because if you grow it to a level where it's making you a lot of money passively, that's all you want. And if you guys are playing the short-term game and you're doing copyrighted stuff and all that kind of thing, don't do it, because you're going to waste a massive opportunity. Just got a question. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to also add, like, so I know someone who sold their merch account recently. And one of the big variables.
Oh, can we? A lot of people. Sorry, can we just clarify this? Because a lot of people think that you're talking about selling illegally. So let's talk
No.
about it selling legally as a business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because
You
when people
basically,
talk about buying and selling accounts, they think that, oh yeah, here you go, here's my email, give me $30. No, so
yeah, I've
legally.
heard people got screwed that way. Like,
Yeah, of
they
course.
send the PayPal and then they like never hit them back.
Yeah, they get blocked on Facebook and
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. But yeah, no. So yeah, so the legal, where you basically reach out to merch by Amazon and you let them know, like, hey, I'm going to be exchanging over this asset, all these assets,
yeah.
to another entity. And so, but anyway, the quick point was one of the big factors in determining the valuation and how much you could get for that sale was how many slots you had. And because how many slots you had determined the potential of the account, right? And so that's another reason for, if you're thinking long term and you're pricing low and you're getting sales, you're tearing up, so you get slots, like the asset that is your merch by Amazon account increases in value the more slots you have.
Yeah. And also, did you know that there's this company that's really well known for buying and selling? Well, it's a platform where you can actually sell your online business, and even a startup business where you've got the foundations and you need funding and you want to sell it. Basically, it's called Flipper. It's an online platform. Have you heard of it? Yeah. So I know for a fact that the way they work is, if you're making a consistent income, one of the things that they look at is they look at your monthly income, and they time it by 28. So if you're making 10K a month times 28, that's 280K. And people would just buy it like that, provided you can, confirm that this is the right income that you're getting. You can confirm everything with them. You can sell it within a month, even less than that. I know people that have sold their accounts in a lot less time frame than that.
Yeah.
So think about the long term, guys. Yeah, Flipper. That's it, Jacob. Yeah. Next one is. Let's talk about how you think about merch. I mean, do you consider it as a means to an end, or is it a short-term project, or do you want to scale it and make it like a long-term thing? So, do you see yourself working on merch for the next 10 years or so, and how big do you want it to be? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things to think about when you are kind of doing merch and spending hours and time doing merch is to understand, okay, so like, what's your goal here? Because in my case, I was never going to do POD as the end game, like print on demand and apparel. It's just not what lights a fire in my inside. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, in the beginning, it's exciting, especially because it takes you out where you're feeling the pain of, if I was working in a restaurant, 12-hour shifts, mopping floors and stuff. And I'm like, every hour spent in this is not paying me in the future. It's not compounding. And like, you want to do activities which, pay you back in the future. And merch is a great example of that. And so merch feels great, especially when you're trying to get out of that financial strain, right? And it brings you a lot of freedom, which is now, I'm very grateful for. But the thing is, it was never my end game. And so it's like, try to have that conversation with yourself. Like what are your financial goals with merch? Like, do you just want it to make you an extra $500 a month? Or do you want it to be your big kind of empire in 10 years? You're making millions a year. Like, it just depends. It plays a big role into what decisions you make and how you grow your account.
Yeah.
Right? Because you start to think more long term. You're like, if I want this to be the big business in my life in a few years, like, the way that you learn, like the way that you build your skills, the way that you build your team is going to be a lot different, because you're like, I want a team that's going to be with me for years. And so all of a sudden you don't do like short-term like deals, like you don't do short-term activities, right? It bleeds out into everything you do, whether it's pricing, whether you actually like try to get good at design in terms of like hiring people. And so that's a great question, which is like, what are your goals with merch? And be clear about it. And know that generally speaking, like they're attainable as long as you're willing to understand like what the trade-off is, right? So if you want like massive success in the short term, you're like, well, maybe you don't actually understand the mechanics of how merch works and the competition and stuff. But if you want like it to be your big thing in like 5 years or whatever it is. And there are people who've made it their full-time thing already. Like there's some cool stories of people who have just like graphic design teams churning out designs and doing epic numbers. So yeah, I think that's a very important question for me. Just full transparency, as it was never the end game. I'm using it to fuel and fund my life for other projects and to explore, to travel. I've been traveling a lot this year. And so that's my relationship with merch. And I fuel the fire a bit by uploading shirts here and there, entering holidays, because I'm very grateful for this machine that's churning out output, right, that's helping my life. Yeah.
It's crazy. And how you think about merch, or how you consider it to be, will determine what actions to take, what investments you want to take. Do you want to invest a lot in social media, growing a social media following in order to generate traffic for your merch? You know what I mean? Like, it would determine so many things, so many actions that you wouldn't have taken otherwise.
Right.
So guys, you need to think about, I believe that everything that you guys do, you need to think about it pragmatically, right? You need to think about this thing as a business. It is a business. It's not a joke. It's not a hobby. Well, you can think about it as a hobby if you want to make $100 a month, or $200, or even $1,000. But if you think about it as a business, you will start seeing some crazy results, because your brain subconsciously starts thinking about, how can I succeed in this business? What can I do? What are the tools that I need? What skills do I need to develop on? How can I develop myself as a person to meet the demands of scaling this business? Do you know what I mean? It's the power of the mind, man. We just gotta like take it seriously. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Like, how do you think that mindset has a lot to do with how you do in business? I mean, in general, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and before I'll go into mindset, I want to quickly just kind of add to your point. Like, when you're thinking about it as a business, all of a sudden you think of like resources and tools as things that can accelerate growth, right? They're not costs. Like, everyone, I see this again and again. It's like, yeah, I want Merchant Forward, but it's too expensive. Really? Like $10 a month to get Neil Lassen, who's a great merch by Amazon, like trainer and software builder and epic guy. You get free training. You get all these tools. You get keyword tools. You get designer tools. You get trademark checkers. It's like, if you think of it as a business, it's nothing. $10 is absolutely nothing. Like some change, right? And then there's all these coupon codes talking about. It's like, it's kind of ridiculous. But then to go, I think this brings us nicely into the mindset thing. Is I really believe, like, it doesn't really matter what venture you take. The internet has exploded the realm of possibility for generating money and creating business. It was not possible before. It's connecting all these groups of people. If your specialty is like, like sculpting wood, like, or you're a wood carver, you can find your niche and train and teach people how to carve wood and make your whole living from. There's a great article, 1,000 True Fans, right? But mindset plays an enormous role. And what determines your mindset is often your situation. And so, like, in my case, back in the day, and we talked about this earlier, which is like, there was a lot of pain in my life that I wanted to escape. And this pain was feeling trapped in a job that had no future, that was not paying me anything for the time. I was like, so that's a lot of pain that will give you a great mindset. It's like, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And it's like, you're willing to do hard things, which is working for 2 months straight without seeing any results, but committing because you know that other people have done it. And if you work hard enough and you're willing to look at the truth. I think a lot of people are not willing to face the truth sometimes. Like, they spend time on Facebook and they're like, hey, merch, I've had zero sales in a month. It's, this thing is dead. Was like, well, how many shirts have you uploaded in a month? Like, look at the causality. Like, the sales are a result of work, right? It's a result of doing research. It's a result of like getting better at designing. And so this kind of mindset is like, it helps to understand, like, how bad do you want it? Because if you don't want it that bad, other people are going to race ahead. And so it's not a get rich quick thing. It's just one other avenue where if you apply hard work and open your eyes, like, you look at the truth, you're like, you know what? I'm actually not good at designing. I suck at keywords. I have to change myself. You have to, quote unquote, have a micro death and be reborn after going through the trial and error again and again and again. So that's kind of like how I look at mindset. That, like, first of all, you need a context that inspires the right mindset. But then you have to be willing to say, like, it's gonna be hard work at first. It's like there's a growth curve to every new thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I mean, perfect. What you've just said. I'm just gonna add something to it based on my experience. So I used to work as a sales manager for big corporates, yeah. And one of the things that we used to concentrate on was productivity. How much do you, what activities do you achieve every single day to be able to attain a certain outcome? So let's say you want your team to achieve 30 sales. How many phone calls do you want them to make every single day? How many inquiries do you want them to generate every single day, right? All of these things, you break everything down. So when you upload, let's say you've got 10 slots, yeah? You do your research, you find the niche, you make a design, and then you upload that design. So this is the activity that you've made. Is this the only thing that you should do? Do you just upload and wait for it to happen? Or do you do a lot of work outside of merch to try and generate some inquiries? So think about it as a sales business. How many phone calls are you going to make? How many inquiries are you going to try to generate in order to get sales? So to put that analogy in the context of merch is, what are you doing with your social media? How many people are you talking about? You're talking to about the fact that you're making T-shirts and you can upload them to Merch by Amazon or to Amazon and they can buy from you. What are you doing outside of the realm of organic traffic to enable you to make those sales? Hands down, right? 99% of people that probably are watching right now, I wouldn't go as far as 99%, maybe 95%. They're not doing anything about it outside of organic traffic or maybe advertising with AMS, right? Are you creating your Pinterest account? Are you creating your Instagram account? Are you creating Facebook pages and growing them with amazing content? You probably are not, right? And that's part of you not thinking about the future. Because when you have that Instagram account that is specific to a niche, that has 1 million followers, highly engaged, you throw in a shirt, I guarantee you at least 100 people will buy that shirt. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think this thing, yeah, I mean, dude, with that big audience, especially if it's targeted, like, I think the thing why it's hard for people to kind of embrace this new thing, which is merch, is that when you're working, let's say in the restaurant, you get paid immediately, kind of, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You put in your hours, you get the pay. With merch, it's not like that. It's like you have to invest and build in assets that pay you back over time, again and again and again. And I think it kind of bleeds into what you're saying. Like when you're building social media accounts, it's not like you're getting paid for every hour of work you're doing. No, you're not. But down the road, you have this audience that you don't have to pay to reach, that you can reach for free. And in the future, that's advertisers are going to keep growing and growing because everyone wants to reach an audience, whether it's Google or Facebook. Like those are the big advertising platforms. Right? Amazon has ads as well. Pinterest has ads now as well. But if you have that audience, just because you were committed to growing it, it's going to be invaluable down the road.
Yeah. And another thing about mindset, like you said earlier, how badly do you want it? Like it's going to be two things. It's either pain or desire. Pain of getting out of your current situation. If you're poor, you don't have money to, to buy clothes or to go on holiday or whatever it is, or desire to buy a nice house, desire to buy a nice car, to go on nice holidays. That's what it's about, right? So you really got to find out what pushes you, what makes you wake up in the morning, what really drives you to achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. And based on those, put them in front of you, right? You want to buy a Ferrari. Fantastic. It's not unachievable. A lot of people have bought Ferraris before. That's what you need to think about. It's not unachievable. People have done it before. Why not me? Why can't I do it? Put it in front of you and say, I am going to achieve this, right? Put a picture of it. Watch it every single day when you wake up in the morning and say, this is what's going to drive me. I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve. If you've got a desire to help your family, great. Wake up in the morning, do your research, upload, and do your thing every single day. Have something that drives you, that makes you want to achieve certain goals. And I think that's, for me, it's wanting to have that financial freedom where I don't have to work for somebody. I had a fantastic job. I had a really good job, pays amazing bonuses and commission, but I still have to work for people. Do you know what I mean? So part of the thing that drove me to start online business in general. I don't just have merch by Amazon, I have other businesses, but like wanting to get out of the 9-to-5 job. In my case, it was a lot longer than that, because you have to work long hours, that kind of thing. It is that financial freedom to have whatever it is that you want to achieve in front of you, visualize it, visualize yourself achieving that goal, and the more you visualize it, the more your brain subconsciously works towards achieving that goal, no matter what. You don't know what you're doing to achieve that goal. Your body drives you to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. And I like just to iterate, like whatever path it is, like let's say we're merch by Amazon, it's not like there's a secret to merch by Amazon success. Like the secret is hard work. And like the rite of passage of practically every person I know who's doing well in terms of full-time income plus on merch by Amazon has gone through that rite of passage. That there was a period of just working hard. But the great thing, the great trade-off there is that it gives you a lot of freedom and it gives you monthly cash flow. And so it's just a trade-off. Like maybe you're not going to work so hard and you get cash more immediately at your job. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of like what we were saying about pain and desire. Sometimes you just if the motivation is not there to do it, don't point your finger at Amazon and be the victim. Like some people have made it work. Like it's not about lack of resources. As cheesy as this phrase is, it's about kind of how resourceful you are. Like, are you going to be reaching out to pages who have audiences and say, hey, I'm going to make teachers be for free. As long as you just promote, I'll give you all the royalty. Like that's a great thing. And I did that with YouTube channels. Like there's always something else to do, like you said.
Yeah. And also it's going to be painful. We know that, but no pain, no gain. This is a cliche, right? And I'm going to mention it because sometimes you need to mention cliches so that people get it, right? If you want to grow muscles and you want to lose weight and you want to be muscular, what do you need to do? You need to train your muscles. You need to push them to the limit, and then they're going to break down, and then they're going to grow even stronger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. We know that. So it's not easy, guys. Work hard, push yourself to the limit, to the brink of collapse. Don't collapse. And if you collapse, stand up again even stronger. That's what's going to push you to achieve your goals, whatever it is in life. Relationship goals or financial goals or spiritual goals or whatever it is. You need to put in the work. You can't blame everybody else. Well, how come there are other people who are successful? They're not successful because they're lucky. There's no such luck. You create your own luck, dude. You create your own luck by working hard, by finding ways of making it work, by getting the right tools, by getting the right mentorship, whatever it is. There are always ways to make things work. You need to find the solution. Don't look at the problem and say, oh, there's this problem, I don't know what to do.
Right.
It's not about the problem, it's about finding the solution.
And it's part of the journey. Like I remember when I was saying this before, but when I hired my first virtual assistant, for example, there was a lot of stress and confusion around that process because I didn't know how to schedule time. I didn't know how to assign work. So I was basically on the bridge. I was on the edge of chaos, right? You're stretched. And then gave it a day or two and it's okay. You've adjusted to that. And then what's the next hurdle? It's like, oh, the first time I uploaded 1,000 shirts in a day, I was stretched. I didn't think I could do it. And then it becomes order. And so if you're constantly on this edge of chaos, which is basically the edge of your capacity, which means you're growing, you just got to wait. Like don't hit the eject button when you feel that stress. Just be like, okay, give me a couple of days. I'm going to digest this. I've kind of figured it out now. And then you move on to the next challenge. That's what growth is.
Yeah. And then you get used to it, right? It's like you become numb to that level of work. Like for me, once upon a time, 1,000 uploads a day was like, this is impossible. If I want to do 1,000 uploads a day, it's very easy right now. So easy. Just create a few designs. It'll probably take me 5-6 hours if I really put my head into it. Obviously, you're going to upload to all of the products, all the markets. It's so much easier now. You just need to create it's so much easier. So the take home from this is make sure you keep working hard. And when you keep working hard, you're going to reach certain limits. And when you reach that limit, next time you're going to reach a higher limit. And then the next time, a higher limit. and that's how you scale and grow, like you mentioned, Blake. Great, man. Really appreciate that. Let's talk about time. A lot of people don't really value their time. What are your thoughts on that? How do you structure your day in order to achieve the maximum amount of activities possible, and in order to make best use of your time that you have in a day? We all have 24 hours. We don't have more than that. So how do you make sure you make the best out of that time that you have?
So if if you have the opportunity to, like, try to get at least 7 hours of sleep, because if you can't recover, you're just not going to perform. But then, and you want to find what works for you, I like before basically from wake up till about 12, that's going to be your most creative, at least for me, that's my most creative, productive time. So I basically switch off social media. I don't check my email. And I basically churn out, I basically just produce for about 4 to 5 hours, because uninterrupted creativity is a great thing. The biggest issue with Facebook, I get sucked into this all the time, when you go into the groups and all of a sudden you get roped into threads and debates, and you want to be part of everything, and you love just getting notifications of people liking and commenting. You're like, wow, this feels great. And there's a lot of activity, but there's nothing has been produced.
Productive, yeah.
And so you want to basically, in terms of the time spent, you want to say, like, okay, is my time spent doing this going to pay me back in the future? That's often what I like to think. Like, whenever you go to the gym, or if you like to exercise and you spend time in the gym, it pays you back again and again for hours after, right? It makes you, it gives you more energy, gives you more focus, makes you stronger, makes you healthier, increases your immune system. And so that's a great use of time. And so you want to be basically putting your attention and focus into time that pays you back again and again. That's kind of how I approach it.
One thing where I was going wrong, but I'm going to put a stop to it today, is being available throughout the whole day on Facebook. And I think that's a big mistake, because I literally do not get anything done for myself. I'm just replying to comments, replying to messages, replying to just like being on Facebook, right? It's hard. I'm into about 5 groups, right? So you've got the Merged by Amazon Ninjas in English and in Arabic, and then I've got another one in Arabic, and then Merged by Amazon Maroc by my pal Salim, and then I've got my Facebook page and so many other things, YouTube and all of that. So I literally cannot do all of these things, plus work on my merch, plus my other businesses, plus my family time. So what I've decided to do today is I'm no longer going to take any private messages on Facebook, but I'm going to answer everybody else's questions on Instagram. So guys, if you're watching this live, or anybody who's watching on the replay, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to show you my Instagram right now. Just bear with me a sec. So you can follow me there. I'm going to hold live. Hold on. Can you see it now? Yeah, at Master Addie P. That's my Instagram. If you follow me there, I'll hold live videos every single day where you can ask me everything instead of sending me messages all the time. Let me put it here. Yeah, instead of getting messages via Facebook all the time, it's really hard. I cannot focus on doing any work or providing any value. So yeah, I'm going to hold live videos on Instagram at Master Addie P. Where you can ask me anything, and I'll give it whatever, half an hour, whatever time I have in that day. If you don't follow me, you're not going to get the notification. If you're following me, you will get a notification as soon as I get live. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today, literally. And I was doing a massive mistake. I thought I could handle it, but like the workload just got so much harder and harder.
Well, it's hard at scale, right? Because like when you're using platforms that work with scale, like YouTube, like in the beginning, it's great. You can be super one-on-one and personal. And then you hit this threshold where all of a sudden you have more people coming in than you can deal with personally, one-on-one. And it's unfortunate, because all of a sudden you do kind of miss that one-on-one connection. But that's the price you pay for scale and for basically having a bigger audience, for sure.
Yeah. I think we've answered that question. Shall we move to question and answer, and then we'll talk about the bonus?
Yeah,
and then
sounds good, man.
Link. Or shall we drop the link now, actually, and get people to...
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I think we'll drop the link now. Let me put it on the description, guys.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do it now. Literally, my Facebook is going bing, bing, bing. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. What shall we call it? Bonus? Let's call it bonus. Touch campus. Bonus. And then the code.
This is good. So we have about 60 people watching.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And then, because I'll probably put it up, I don't know when, but it'll go up for sale after. So just, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a gift. Keep it with yourself. Like if you could not share it would be great.
Yeah. Please don't, guys. This is just for you. Okay, so I've put the link in the description. The coupon code is AddieP. I'm going to put it right here. One sec. Well, actually, don't worry about it. Just go to the description of this video live. You'll be able to see it. Let me see if it is live now. And then we'll move to the question and answer section. We'll give it maybe 15 minutes or so. And then we'll move to the question and answer. Let's see. Yeah, it is there. Merch campus bonus. Got the link on Gumroad, and then the coupon is AddieP.
So yeah, you maybe have to refresh the page.
It is there.
Great.
Just gonna if I refresh it, it's gonna play the sound.
No, I meant for the people because I refreshed on my phone and I can see it.
Yeah, guys, if you can refresh the page, you'll be able to see it. It is there right now. Okay, let's start, guys. You can start asking your questions now. We'll go through a few questions now. I think we've been talking for 1 hour and 23 minutes. I can't believe it.
Oh man, yeah.
I literally, oh my god,
doesn't feel like that at all.
It literally doesn't feel like it. Like crazy, man.
Flow state.
It's amazing. Love it. Right, ask your questions, guys. Oh, Mohammed is saying it's 3:22 a.m. and he's still watching. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching, man.
It's 1:24 here, 1:24 a.m. in London.
As a late nighters.
We're still rocking it hard.
It's 5:30 p.m. here.
Yeah, enjoy, guys. Ask your questions. I think they're getting the document now. I think that's what it is. That's why they're not worried about asking questions. Yeah, guys. Yeah. We're gonna take it off literally straight after the live. So if you don't get it now, this is your chance.
I can actually see how many people are getting it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're at 18.
18, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so there's about 59 people. Guys, you need to go and get it now. Trust me, we're gonna pull it down after the live. And after that, how much is it gonna be?
I don't know, like 15 or 20, one of the two, yeah.
20, 15,
yeah, $15 or $20. I haven't decided.
Okay, so for people that don't know what it's going to be about, or they've joined us after you spoke about it earlier, what does that PDF entail? What does it have?
So it's basically a lot of proven seller like phrases and templates that you can smash with any niche. If you're trying to basically, it really depends what your goals are. If you're trying to enter like one niche, you can basically use all those phrases in one niche. If you're trying to enter hundreds of niches, you can use one phrase for 100 niches.
Like somebody said the code doesn't work. The code actually works. Let's see.
No,
it's
21,
Addie, isn't it? No, the code works.
Yeah, 21 people have already got it.
Yeah, 21 people have already got it. I think you're probably not using it correctly. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. So it's basically like I use this all the time. And you can use it with like seasonal, like we were talking about earlier with the Halloween, the different kind of phrases that work like seasonally. And so I basically use this whenever I'm like, okay, I need to put out designs, particularly in Q4. And these are super easy to put out because you can actually just do like, these are primarily text, right? So you can actually just use the Merch Designer tool, smash them out, and you can even like pair them with, for example, like your niche, resource, because all of a sudden you get all these niches that you can like combine with these scalable phrases. And so you have like over 100 phrases that you don't have to think about it. You find a niche, you're like, cool, I can just use it with these 5 phrases, put it up, and these are cool offerings, unique offerings for the customer.
Yeah. So guys, some people are asking what is the code. Dude, it's in the description. So if you just go to the description, you'll have the link, and underneath it says coupon ADP. So let me type it here for you guys if you're not sure about. One sec. Okay. Anyone struggling with the code, this is the right code, guys. Okay? This is the code.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up for a couple of seconds. Got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I found a lot of success with these phrases in my own business. And so like you'll see them because I write notes on each phrase, like how I would use it, whether with like hobbies or animals or food or whatever kind of niche, and how I would approach it. And then I say even sometimes like, this one has worked really well for me in the past, and a bunch of them, because I love these because they're basically proven sellers. So they're so easy to port them over. Remember at the very beginning of this conversation, we talked about this concept of like just looking what works, whether it's historically or what's working right now, and you port it over to different things, like, and you combine it. And so that's kind of what I was doing with this, because I use this. Like I use this every day when I find a different niche. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great phrase I could just put with it. I don't have to think about creatively.
Yeah, awesome, man. Okay, let's go, guys, to the question and answer. So the first one that I could see was ask Blake why he stopped doing his videos on his channel. We miss Ching Chang on his campus channel.
Is
You touched upon it earlier.
Say again?
You touched upon it earlier, didn't you?
Oh, the cha-ching sound from like sales.
No, why you kind of stopped kind of uploading videos and doing stuff. So yeah, just briefly, why that is, people want to know.
Yeah, Merge Campus emerged from my excitement of learning this completely new platform. I didn't know anything about Merch from Amazon, and all of a sudden I saw success. I went through a Q4 and had a fat Q4, and I was like, this is pretty great. It's exciting when you figure something out to share it. That's what the origin story was. When the fire and the excitement for merch is kind of slowing down, it's just I don't have the natural extension of that and putting up videos, right? And so I like to put up stuff if I think it's useful. Like recently, I just put up like the tool that I use, but it's just there's not as much kind of energy and excitement for me as there used to be, and so that's why I've been slowing it down. But there's fortunately still epic, stuff out there like your channel, for example.
Thanks, man. But I can see that you're putting out stuff like quite regularly. What, every like 2 weeks or so? You're putting out stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I put one out pretty recently, like a week ago. I'm actually not sure, but it was just a tool that I used. I was excited about, and I'll probably put one out related to this PDF that people have downloaded, and that's kind of So whenever I think it's useful, and I can help people, I'll put it out. I don't feel like if I force myself to make a video, I have to kind of make up something that maybe it's been said before many times. Like it doesn't feel authentic. Like I actually want to make videos where I actually feel excited to share something.
Yeah, awesome, man. What's the best way to make your key products features? Did you use basic keywords or a lot of keywords related to the design?
Yeah, so just an SEO keyword question, right?
Yeah,
about
yeah.
bullets. Yeah, so I like to combine high traffic keywords, and this is, I think, pretty similar to you, but you basically combine high traffic keywords with specific niche keywords that are not as high traffic. A lot of the ways, I made a video on this, that I find specific keywords that are not really used is in the reviews of similar products. I'm like, holy crap, a lot of these people who buy this shirt are buying it for their nephew or for their neighbor. It's like, I would literally have never used that keyword. And people type things like that. And so like that's how I basically combine high traffic auto suggests with specific keywords. And then yes, I try to make every keyword related to the design, because like if it's not related, it's basically useless. Like it pulls up for a customer and they see it, they're like, oh, this is not, I was looking for a hiking shirt. Like this is about like ramen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
And
kind of how
if they don't click, your click-through rate suffers, and then merch doesn't show your design as much. And it starts getting buried. Yeah. Cool.
Totally.
Another question. Is merch algorithm, this is from Hamza, is merch algorithm starting to prefer much lower keywords on your listing?
So
the question is,
yeah.
Would you put less keywords in your listings, or would you fill it with keywords that are related?
Yeah. It kind of depends. I like to do now just how much I think it needs. So
yeah,
there are times when it doesn't need a lot because it's super targeted. Like the niche in itself, the title of the niche is what the design's all about, because it's such a specific like niche, you know? So then in that case, you don't need to smash it up with keywords. Like if it's a bit less clear, you know, if it's a bit broader, then I'll probably use more keywords because I'm trying to create more streams to reach more people. And so I know that Michael Essany, who does the Merch Momentum Guide, which is great, he likes this idea of, he basically says he has like 100, right, bucks, and every time he uses a word, he's using a buck, and he can only use $100 per keyword, something like that. So he only tries to use about 100 words in the whole thing, even though your character limit is much higher. I think it's something like that. So he tries to keep it very lean. Yeah.
Right. Well, for me, like you said, I only use as much as that niche needs. I don't try and force it and, you know, manufacture keywords, try and get them from different places where they don't fit in with that niche. Yeah. I mean, don't force it. Do your research, see what keywords really are relevant to that niche, and just do that, right? And like you said, try and get some obscure keywords that not a lot of people would probably search for, and add them to the main keywords that are high traffic as well. You might find that the obscure keywords might become later on down the line a main keyword, right? Especially for a new niche or a new trend. Cool. Let's see. Just trying to check the questions. Okay. At what point should we increase the price from $13.99 after the first sale, or after a few consistent sales?
So I personally wait more than one sale. If it got a sale, sometimes it's random. Like sometimes you just have a random rotation. So I'll just wait. And then and this is just a personal choice. Again, I think pricing is a choice. And so like I would wait just a few. And then I'm like, okay, so like this is maybe selling a few times a month now. I can actually pull this up like $14.99. See, does it change the volume, the sales volume, the sales velocity? That's kind of simple answer. How about you?
I wait until it ranks either in page 1 or 2, and then I raise it. I raise the price incrementally. I don't just play it by fluke, because I need to see where I'm ranking, like where am I against the competition? Because if I'm in a big niche, let's say of 1,000 results, and I make only one sale, that's not going to drive me to page 1. And so if I increase my price, then what's going to happen is I'm not going to be showing in the low to high section, and I'm not going to be showing in the featured section, which is page 1 or 2, whatever. So I'll be stuck in the middle. And I always talk about this. I say the no man's land. Nobody goes to the middle to search for t-shirts unless Amazon changes the rotation and somehow it shows your shirt somewhere where people see it, or recommends it somewhere. But where I want to be, most of my designs that I want to rank them in page 1 of that niche. So I play the longer game. Yeah, I keep I could do 2, 3 sales, even sometimes 8 sales, 10 sales without changing the price. But then when I raise the price, it keeps selling. It keeps that momentum. One thing you don't want to do is slow down that momentum, because once it slows down, it's hard for Amazon to show your shirt again, and it's hard for it to make another sale. You're basically taking a risk there. For me, what's important for me is just like that shirt needs to consistently keep selling. Yeah. Let's see. Guys, ask your questions. I'm trying to go back up the chat to see if I can find a question.
40 people got the PDF, which is great. Hope you enjoy it.
Guys, there's another 24 people that haven't got the PDF. So go right now to Gumroad, follow that link, enter the code ADDIEP. That's ADDIEP. Let me put it on the banner right now. If you're just joining us now, yeah, put that code ADDIEP with the link, and you'll get a free PDF. Fantastic resource from Blake from Merge Campus. Let's see. Just looking through the pages to see, through the comments to see if I can find any question. Yeah, I can't find any question all the way up. Okay. Okay, is there a way to deal with the 30% tax?
Okay, so you're, yeah, so it's people who are abroad, right? With
yeah, they don't live in the US. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, full transparency, I never experienced this problem, so I didn't have to solve it, so I don't know how I would do it.
Yeah, I've researched that, and I've actually done a video about it. Okay. So basically what you want to do is you want to fill your tax interview. Let's say you're in Morocco. You fill that tax interview, and it will ask you, where are you from? Which country you're from? Or the country where you pay in your tax. If you're in Morocco, you're going to select Morocco, and then it's going to say you need to enter your tax information. So your basically the equivalent of the TIN in America, the tax code, or whatever it's called. You're going to get your tax code from the office or the organization that supplies the tax. So the equivalent of the Inland Revenue in England or the IRS in the US. You're going to get that tax code and you're going to put it there. And when you put it there and you complete the interview, it's going to give you the rate that your country has agreed with the US in the tax treaty that they have. So I know for Morocco it's 10%. So when you supply your tax code, they will drop it to 10%. If you don't have a tax code, oh yeah, Osama, the same thing for Algeria. I think there is a tax treaty, dude. I've researched it. I think it's about 10%, maybe 15%. So yeah, if you don't have a tax code in Morocco, Algeria, or anywhere in the world, what you want to do is you want to contact the IRS and ask them for an EIN number, right? You're going to say that you live outside of the US, you don't have a company in the US, but you get royalties from the US. And you're going to say that you don't live in the US. When you give them all of this information, they're going to give you a code, which is the EIN. So that code is what you're going to put in your tax interview, but make sure you check, I am a non-US resident. Don't check, I am a US resident. Check, I'm a non-US resident. I think that answers your question. Let's see. Adnan, how can we reach you for the coaching sessions? You can send me a private message. So anything to do with my products, the only way you can reach me is through a private message, and those I'll be able to answer because I cannot answer them in the groups or via live because they are more specific. So yeah, no problem, mate. Yeah, send me a message. Can you give us some tips on how to maximize your returns in Q4? I think you spoke about that before, but maybe you can just speak top line, maybe a couple of seconds.
Yeah, he's asking how to minimize returns. So like
minimize.
Yeah,
I didn't read it properly. Sorry, mate.
No, maximize returns is good as well.
Minimize returns. Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any ideas on this?
I think just make sure you have. Look, if people are going to return your design, if they have the intention of buying that design and returning it, there's nothing you can do, right? But I think if you have a great design that is designed with printing in mind, not just designed for the computer, but designed for the printer, right? So bear in mind things like opacity, right? Shadows, all of those things. If they show bad in the printing, in the final print, you're gonna get returns, right? If you have textures that you're not supposed to have, like rose gold texture or marble texture or a gold sparkly glitter texture, it's not going to show the same as what it would show on the mock-up, right? So when people receive that print, they're going to get so underwhelmed, and they're going to return your product no matter what. So that's one of the things that I would suggest for you to bear in mind in order to minimize your returns. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, better design. Yeah, just got it right here from AAAW. Thank you. Better design, better description than minimum return. And also, guys, don't overpromise in your description. You know, make sure you tell them, you know, how it is really. Like, don't say this is a glow in the dark or glowing shirt when actually it's not a glowing shirt. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people get so underwhelmed when they receive a shirt that doesn't glow in the dark, but actually in the description it says glow in the dark.
It's not allowed as well.
Huh?
It's also, you're not allowed to write that now.
Yeah, you're not allowed. But some people circumvent it by putting glow and then whatever in dark places. Seriously, but Amazon algorithm reads it as glow in the dark. You know what I mean? It kind of puts one and two together. One more question. Can you please give us some tips about colors in designs, not the shirt blank? I didn't understand the question. Sorry, can you, did you get it? I didn't get the question.
Is this about which colors you select?
Can you please give us some tips about colors in designs, not the shirt blank? I'm not getting the question, man.
If it's like which colors to select, you can't go wrong with dark colors. But then if it's what colors to use in your design, my suggestion is always just go on Amazon.com, find some merch shirts and which are selling. You could do that however you want, merchresearch.com, and you could see like which colors are doing well. And like for example, I've noticed this kind of unusual bright blue that's been trending lately, and so people seem to be buying that kind of color lately. So that's kind of what I would say. Design colors, yeah. So the ones on the shirt.
Yeah, design colors. Yeah, cool. What is your design routine for MBA? What is your daily routine for MBA? Sorry.
The thing is, it just changed. So it changes so much over the years. Like, because like now I'm at a place where I have a very big evergreen base that's generating monthly revenue. It's different from when I was grinding and I didn't have a big base. So if it just depends. Like, so if you're not where you want to be, your daily routine will probably look more intense. You know, you're getting up, and like for me right now, my daily routine, because we're in Halloween, is I get on my merch, I see what sold yesterday, I create more shirts in the niches that have sold yesterday. So I basically bulk my position in niches that I'm already in, which to try to build a bit of a moat around your existing designs. And then I try to explore new niches. So I'll maybe might check out Merch Momentum, see, oh, these are some cool niches that, you know, Michael's talked about. I can like fit it with a phrase that I have from that PDF, and I'll just try it out, because it's basically a mixture of creating more of what's proven and then experimenting. That's kind of like what it would be for me now, but it's different now because I don't really grind it that hard.
Right. Next question. This is from my pal Samir from Merch Public School. Blake, the trend analogy you shared is very logical. Worked great when shirts used to make it around the clock every year, but lately it doesn't seem to be the case after the algorithm change. Thoughts?
Around, I guess I'm not sure what around the clock means. Is he talking about rotation, pulling up the rank?
Used to make it around the clock every year. The trend analogy works. I'm not understanding that, to be honest, as well.
What I understand about the current algorithm is that back in 2017, we saw new uploads get a little rank boost, right? Or kind of tweaked uploads get a little refresh rank boost. 2018, no, didn't happen. And that's why it was kind of, you didn't really get that initial boost. 2019, I'm feeling it again. Like when you upload a shirt, it'll sell more soon than it used to last year for me. So it's almost like the algorithm has kind of gone back to new stuff putting up. I find that it sells faster. Like a shirt that I uploaded yesterday sold today.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't always happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was so hard before, right? Because always the current sellers would dominate that niche. So hard. But now Amazon gives new uploads a better chance. Okay. Any tips of how to keep track of very big amounts of designs? I get overwhelmed arranging my designs.
Because I like to be fully authentic and transparent,
Yeah.
I don't keep track of my designs. And so that's basically sloppy business practice. But I've already put in the work over the past couple of years to have an existing base of evergreen designs. And because I'm rather passive in my relationship to merch, I don't really have to track it. But what I heard was a good tool is something like Merch Wizard that works with Airtable, which is also a data organizer. How about you?
There's a new tool out there. I'm not sure if I should mention the name or not, but I would mention the name because it's out there and it's not in a closed group. It's called Merchflow. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys have heard of it. Yeah, it doesn't need any other uh, database where you store your designs. Everything, or where you store the database, it's all stored in your computer. Check it out. I would definitely recommend checking it out, but use it with caution. Know exactly what you're doing when using it.
With the automation stuff.
Yeah. So the automation stuff is not there anymore.
Oh, they
So
took it
they've
out.
taken
Okay.
out, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they took out the
They
bulk
took
price.
out the automation stuff, so it's kind of fully compliant now. So I
So
think,
you have to like submit on every one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
From an automation perspective, it's fully compliant.
It's a great tool for sure. I totally agree.
Huh?
It's a great tool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool, mate. We got access to it before it came out, and yeah, it's brilliant. And I know the developers; they're really nice people. So if you guys are interested, definitely check it out.
Yeah, I think he's crushing it as well, Krill, based on some of the sales I've
Yeah,
seen.
yeah, he's doing really well, Kirill. Yeah, AAW, they took out the auto reprise feature because it was it's they thought that it wasn't fully compliant. There was an argument whether it was fully compliant or not. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not going to talk about my opinion on it. All I know is they've took it out. That's
Yeah.
all we need to know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's great, by the way. I use that for basically I sort by BSR,
yeah,
reverse sort. So I look at my lowest BSRs and then I get into that design. So I'm like, why does this have the lowest BSR? And see if it's still a valid design and then
yeah.
what I can refresh about it.
It's really good, man. Like you can organize your database like crazy with it. So like you pull all of your designs and then you sort by the designs that have sold in the last 30 days but still priced at 1307, and then take a closer look, update the prices right from the platform. It's yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
It's funny how like you have all these kind of subsidiary tools and software that work with merch, and merch is kind of just like taking their time with like
I
dashboard
know,
updates.
right? I know. Why can't they just come up with a repricing software or
Yeah,
something, man? I'd pay top bucks for it. I don't mind. I
yeah.
just need something that will help me, with, maximizing my activity every single day and making it easy.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's definitely a reason. Like, it's so easy to implement any kind of bulk options.
right.
So there's obviously a reason they don't want people to be
Yeah.
bulk
Yeah.
pricing shit. Yeah, yeah.
There is. There is. I think because of the issues that happened in, the Philippines and Vietnam and those places, because they're doing some crazy stuff in there, man. Have all kinds of softwares. But anyway, that's another topic. Let's see. I think it was a clarification from Samir. He said, around the clock is to the next year's same trend. That was a follow-up from the question he had.
Oh, well, let's find the original question.
Let me see. Where is the original question? Yeah, there you go. Here's the original question. Blake, the trend analogy you shared is very logical. Worked great when shirts used to make it around the clock every year. But lately it doesn't seem to be the case after algorithm change. Thoughts?
Well, I think the core principle, I mean, that's what I did in the summer. So like the thing that worked last year where you had all these trending class of 2031 shirts or whatever it was, that works every year around that time because it's It's basically for people who are in pre-kindergarten and they're saying they're going to graduate in 12 years or whatever it is, or 14 years, right? So I think it's less that specific shirt makes it year after year, but the fact that that trend will happen every year, the trend of, the back to school trend, there'll be kind of like similar things going on every year. That's kind of how I approach it. Is that what you're asking?
I think that probably answers it. If not, then he will put a comment underneath. Cool. Question: how can we get information about this Amazon algorithm? Amazon will not give you information. All they will tell you is, I mean, yeah, I'll let you answer it. Go on.
Me?
Yeah, I'll let you answer it. Go on.
Yeah, I would just say like the most that we can know about it is you just type Amazon algorithm and read news articles and then try to gather what's going on, because people are suing Amazon for promoting their own products. So basically for listing third-party products, seeing which performs the best, then releasing the Amazon product of it and then putting that up the rank. And so there are discussions about algorithms that happen in the news that you can just read up on. Outside of that, from personal experience, you can see what the algorithm likes or not. Sometimes when you put up a shirt in a particular niche, it will never sell. Sometimes it'll sell immediately, and you can kind of get a sense of how the algorithm's working.
Yeah, and the rotation and all of that. So basically, Amazon will rotate the shirts that it has, and if they sell, great, they'll bump them even more. If they don't sell, they put them down the chain. That's pretty much what I would say about top line about the algorithm. And the more it sells, the more your t-shirt sells, the more Amazon would want to show it to customers. Because let's say you're a businessman and you have a product that sells above everything else. Would you show that product more? Would you put it in the place where most people would actually see it and have the chance to sell it there more? Or would you like keep it hidden and show other products and not show the bestseller? Of course, I would show the bestseller because it's validated. It has that history of sales. People like it, and therefore that's what's going to make you more profit. So you're going to show it more, right? Let's see. Any more? I think we'll answer one more. Do you want to stretch it until 2 p.m. my time, which is like another 7 minutes?
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then
Let's do it.
close it after 2 hours. That would be great. I can't believe the time has gone so fast. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's flying.
I know. Last pages. When going on the last pages of a niche, it goes up to 1,000 pages. How we should deal with this?
It sounds like the niche is so big, like it's the Halloween niche. And so if you're pushing page 9, of course it'll show 10,000, if not, 80,000 results. And so the way you would deal with that is you basically narrow down your niche for the keyword phrase, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do. And always check page 3 to know the exact competition in that niche. Sometimes Amazon only shows you 130 or 150 or 200 or whatever. Then when you go to page 3, it shows you 500, 800, 2,000. So always validate the competition by doing that before you enter the niche, and be comfortable with the level of competition before you enter the niche by going to page 3.
Even with brands, even if your brand has, let's say, 1,000 shirts, it'll only display like 150 or something.
Yeah,
until you push deep.
And you actually go, yeah. Let's see, one more. How do you deal with removed designs? Do you upload it again or just replace it? You can't replace it. You have to upload it again.
Yeah. So removed means it never sold?
Yeah, it never sold and it gets removed.
Yeah, I think Merchflow actually does a good job of finding which. Yeah.
And if Amazon removes it because it violates their rules, then obviously don't re-upload it. Don't make that mistake. They removed it for a reason. They will remove it again, and you can kiss your accounts goodbye.
Yeah. I would look at the keyword, like if for this is just because it removed because it never sold, and that's a long period of time for it not to sell. I would just say like, okay, this never sold. If you still think the design is valid, but it just didn't sell with that keyword, with those keywords.
Yeah.
And it will not sell with those keywords if you put it up again. Like probably not very likely. So I'll
Yeah,
just revisit the keywords.
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what? A lot of my good sellers, I've re-uploaded another time, and they sold pretty immediately. So for me, part of the algorithm as well, even though it's not an algorithm, it's a question of timing, man. Sometimes it just so happens that you upload a design at the right time, the right customer comes and sees it, and and they buy it. And when they buy it, it gives it that push to show in page one if it's a small niche, and there you go, you've got a good seller.
Dude, sometimes like luck.
It's luck, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Uh, yeah, Blake, how are you doing with pop sockets, and any advice related to pop sockets?
I'll sell pop sockets occasionally, but I would say that I have no valuable advice when it comes to selling pop sockets. So I don't know. How about you, man?
I'm not going to waste this slot to talk about it, but I did a pop socket in Arabic. I did a pop socket video in Arabic. I think it was my last live in Arabic. So if you guys understand Arabic, then go and watch it. But like top line, focus on the colors. Know exactly what colors sell for pop sockets, because colors make a massive difference. Um, Design mainly for girls, because girls love to take selfies, and they hands down they buy more pop sockets. Focus on patterns. Patterns sell really well. Names, initials, they sell really well. And cross niche. If you cross niche all these things, you will sell some pop sockets. Check the trendy phones and their colors and design for those colors, right? Don't call it rose gold if it is rose gold. Call it pink rose or rose pink. What else? Phone cases. Phone cases. The most trendy phone cases that are sold on Amazon. What you'll find is people buy those cases, and they're looking for a pop socket to match those phone cases. So make sure you design for those specific colors, and just look at what sells really. And based on what sells, you're going to make that design that's highly targeted, highly cross niched, and that's pretty much it. There's a few other bits and pieces, but I don't want to eat from the time.
That's good.
Let's see. Like, how can I show my design in Google Images?
I think because I found my shirts in Google Images sometimes, and I think it's just a matter of being indexed by Google.
Yeah.
And like obviously, if there's a lot of traffic to a listing, it helps in terms of like I believe it helps in the indexing. So that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah, and to help it a bit more, I would say take your keywords or long tail keywords from Google Keyword Planner. If you put it at the start of your title, I found that it gives you more of a chance to be indexed by Google. So this helps with Google SEO, not with Amazon. It can help with Amazon, but it helps more with Google SEO. Right, one last question. Just trying to choose a good question. Okay, we'll end with this one right here.
All right, man.
What are your plans for to up your game in the future? Top-notch illustration, i.e., so for example, top-notch illustration, social media branding, etc.
Okay. I'll go for it first. Then you want to go?
Sorry.
I'll answer it first.
Yeah, go on. It's fine. I'll leave it to you to answer it.
Okay. Sorry, it's getting darker here, but so let's say my I said this before, but my goal for the future, I didn't plan on POD, print on demand, being the end game for me. And so if it was the end game, I would probably be hitting all of that: top-notch illustration, social media branding, building out a great team, like building a vision, and then building audiences so that I can reach those audiences without paying for them. And so, but for me, what I think the more exciting thing about the internet is that if you can find something that you're very good at, that you're very interested in, that you can help other people with, you basically will probably not have any problems if you know how to reach them, right? And you know how to build a business out of it. And so that's probably my plans for the future. And luckily I have merch helping to fuel this exploration stage, is to find and explore different projects that I'm interested in, and then to see where you have the intersect of the founder market and the product fit, where you can create something that is valuable to a market that is perfectly aligned with what I want to do. So that's kind of how I would answer that.
Awesome, mate. That's really good. And that concludes this live really, really nicely. Thank you so much for that, Blake. Guys, please type thank you to Blake, because he's a powerhouse, and he's come in to drop all these amazing power knowledge bombs. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, have you can you check how many people have downloaded that PDF, please?
Yeah, we're at 45.
45. Guys, you're leaving money on the table by not downloading that PDF. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's courtesy of Blake. There's about 20 people that haven't downloaded it. So guys, we're going to give you a couple of seconds to go and download it now, because as soon as this live is done, we're going to pull the link and the code off of the video, and Blake is going to cancel that coupon code. So please go ahead and download it right now.
I'll cancel the code in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, give them some time to download it even after the live. Maybe they've faced some problems or something like that. One thing I would mention is, and I touched upon it earlier, is my Instagram, guys. I am not going to be working every single hour of my day answering messages on Facebook, because I found that I cannot answer everybody. So I'm going to start doing lives pretty much on a daily basis on Instagram. So if you follow me on @MasterAddie on Instagram, you'll be able to get notified as soon as I go live to answer all of your questions. And I'll try and do that on a daily basis, guys. But what I cannot do is answer questions as they come from you guys through my social media. It is so hard. I found that this is a big mistake that I'm making, and it doesn't allow me to maximize my day, my day's activity. I'm always on Facebook, and I want to start doing work for myself, but I can't because I have to answer somebody else's question. So it's not because I don't want to answer your questions. It's because I literally cannot do my own work and be productive. If I am productive, I can do more work for you guys. I can produce more content. I can, do more lives like this. I can do more YouTube content, more Facebook content. But if I'm spending all my valuable time answering questions, I cannot do any of that. And not to mention, I cannot work on my businesses. So yeah, if you guys do me this favor, anybody who's watching now on the replay, go and follow me on Instagram @MasterAddie, and yeah, there'll be a lot of value. I'll be answering your questions via lives all the time. All right, pretty much on a daily basis. Anything you want to end with, Blake?
Dude, I feel like we covered a lot. Anything I would say would kind of be repeating. Thanks so much for having me, man.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with us. I think we kept a great audience. I think the maximum was about 85, and now it's about 84. So thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next live. Take care. Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.